Enrique, come on. Come on, well.
I have to contrast.
Not you. Me and you. Go. Go get changed. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 48. We're approaching on 50. I'm curious, guys. How many of you, when I said I'm going to do this every day, unless I break, that's the only caveat. How many of you didn't believe me? I'm curious. Show yourselves. It's okay, I won't hold it against you. So guys, at my school, just so you know, I mean, yeah, we're doing different colored gis for contrast. No black and blue today. But at my school, I know a lot of schools do different things and a lot of different tops and bottoms, and you know, we allow only white, black, and blue. So same pants, same top. If somebody forgets and should have known, I'd give them a pass. If they don't know, then I tell them, and hopefully next time. So we have not declined anybody training for that yet, but yeah, don't try me, guys. When we open, don't try me. Don't try to see what you can get away with. So today, guys, what we're going to be working on is, you know, most people don't have a symmetrical game. They have an asymmetrical game, meaning that their game on the left and the right is different, okay? So we're going to look at a couple of scenarios, and I'm going to show you my game is definitely not symmetrical. I do try to have a symmetrical game, but the reality is your body positioning is slightly different on one side or the other side, whichever is more dominant, and therefore it's a lot harder to switch the little pieces of the body posture when the sides change. So a lot of times other forms of attack or other forms of defense might be more appropriate. So let's look at two, like for example, a scenario guard passing. So when I pass to my left, it tends to be my dominant side. That tends to be most people's dominant side. Most people guard defense or offense is better on their right side. Most people's guard passing is on their left. You do need to mix it up, guys. I do encourage you to mix it up, especially you're having trouble getting through on one side. Go to the other side, even if that's not necessarily your better side. So a lot of times, this is probably my most dominant. Come on. Guard passing on my left. Knee cut pass. All right. So, what do you decide, Enrique? What do you want to do? Yes, wilting is the best way. I pass his guard. All right. Now, on my right side, a lot of times I lead with the same knee, and I do a staple pass. All right. You want me to stretch you?
I'm not fighting.
So I don't believe Enrique stretched well enough today. So I'm not really going to demonstrate this staple pass. So again, on this side, it's more of a staple pass as opposed to passing to my left. Now, guys, I have a question for you. There's kind of two reasons why I have the pass I have on my right. I think the first one is kind of obvious. The second one is not maybe so obvious. I'm curious to see if you guys have an answer.
For your question earlier,
Yeah.
Adolfo Ferranda says, I thought one of you would have taken a day off by now. Amazing.
Adolfo, which one did you think it was going to be? Yeah, one of you.
And
Which one was more likely to take a day off?
And Patrick Wilkins says, just glad you guys show up every morning. It's a nice touch back to something normal.
Yes.
And Richardo says, because of the lead leg.
Yes, that is the obvious answer, yes. Because usually I'm used to passing with my right. When I switch, when I'm passing to my left, I usually drive with the right leg. So it's an easy switch. Do you guys know what the second reason is, which is less obvious?
And for your question to Adolfo, he says, no comment.
Yes. Spoken like a true diplomat, or politician.
Kanai Kiyoshi says, because of surprise. Alot Sapir says, split guard, favorite side.
I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to just switch. So, I know it's early in the morning in some parts of the world, afternoon in Europe, and late afternoon in other parts of, or evening in other parts of the world. So, I'll give you the answer, unless we have one.
Acoustic Jaybird says, not as stable on the weaker side.
I use a tighter pass on my passing to my right. Guys, the reason is, you should know by now, I have a better guillotine with my left hand. So if I do a knee cut pass and I screw it up, usually he'll turtle up and I'll get the I'll get the attacks from there. On my right side, if passing to my right, my guillotine is not quite as strong, and therefore I choose to. Of course, it's easy because my right leg tends to be forward to begin with. Plus, if I knee cut pass on my right and I do it weak, what do you know? My guillotine on my right side is not that bad. So it's not bad. My right hand guillotine is not bad, but it's not as good as my left. So that's the second reason, guys. All right. So again, guys, in the guard passing, what I would encourage you to do is hone both sides. Doesn't have to be necessarily the same pass, but hone both sides, because if you're having trouble getting through on your more dominant side, you will have to switch it up. If you insist on the same side, at some point, you know, he knows what he's doing, and chances are, if you're insisting on something, you might make a mistake because you start to wind up with the blinders on, and then you will basically just try to force it, and if you're forcing it against a skilled guy, it will bite you in the ass. Okay? So let's move on to, this is probably a more complicated area, is the guard. Like, you look puzzled. Do we have any questions on that or no? Any responses on?
A question we have on Facebook from Pavel is, how do you pass a good guard retention?
Usually, just keep attacking side to side. If you look at the best guys, guard passers, it's usually side to side. It's exhausting because you will have to drive left, right, left, right, left, right. So look at, just if you look at some of the best guard passers out there, they're relentless. The guy does not have the time to reset. If you have two equally conditioned athletes or practitioners, usually if it's competition, you can call them athletes too, usually the bottom guy has a harder work because gravity is harder on him than it is on the top guy. So if the guy on top is relentless, at some point he will, and the bottom guy is not able to set up his grips, the top guy will usually pass the guard. Okay, so side to side, guys. Again, that's one of the reasons, even if you may have an asymmetrical game, meaning that your left side and the right side are not exactly the same or equally good in that specific one pass or one move, you should try to make sure that you have both sides, that so you can switch side to side, side to side. You keep going until you get through.
And Adolfo Ferrando is asking, Fox, mechanically, what makes your left side guillotine better than your right?
It's not mechanically, it's just pure practice. It's the mechanics is the same. It's just I'm a lot smoother, fluid, pardon the pun, on my left side because I've probably done the the left side 10,000 times, or I don't even know, probably 2,000 times on my right. Maybe, so I will probably have a left-handed guillotine 10-1 at least, maybe even 20-1 on left versus right. So it's just constant practice. It's, you know, it's smoother. It's not mechanics. It's just purely smoother, you know, better honed.
And Aiden Guy on Instagram is asking, not sure if he answered this, but wondering, what are you doing on your off days? What do you do off the mats to stay on them?
I train in the water, guys. Fluid BJJ. Look it up. There's a video. There's a couple of videos I did. There's one really old one that I explain it, and there's some moves. And there's a more recent one, maybe a year ago, with Ricky. We did, Mike, about a year ago, where it's a short video. It's about 5 minutes, and it just shows you the equivalent move on the mats and in the water. Okay, so if you put it on YouTube, I think it's on our YouTube channel. Both of them are, but you may have to scroll through a lot of videos. So if you put Fluid BJJ, that's what I do when I'm banged up. I train in the water. That's an active rest day for me because it allows me to continue to hone my skills, to improve my muscle memory without beating the crap out of me. You know, the impact, or utilizing a lot of strength, or, you know, you moving left and he moves right, and even though you both intend to not go crazy, it just sometimes happens anyways.
And HS2411 on YouTube is asking, how do you pass someone with an active closed guard?
We worked on that. There's an episode on that. Guys, Adolfo Ferranda has put together a Google Doc. It was in the comments yesterday's episode. Adolfo, if you don't mind putting it up again on today, where the episodes are cataloged based on the technique we covered. So if you're on Instagram, I don't understand Instagram well enough. I'm playing with it, but I'm sure, I don't know what, Mike takes care of Instagram. They stay on Facebook. On my page, they're not cataloged with the specific moves. On the Academy pages, they are. Mike puts them up and catalogs them by, you know, indexes them and marks them with the specific techniques. And they stay on Facebook on my page, on the Academy 2 pages, which is Silver Fox Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, Silver Fox BJJ Butler, and also on YouTube they're marked specifically with the techniques, and they stay on forever. The only two, I think, we had episode 1 and 2 that we could not upload, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen. And episode 24, I think, might have gotten corrupted and it just disappeared. So everything, and Adolfo has the document, which has, so you can kind of, you don't have to kind of watch all of them. You can kind of go specifically to the ones that cover the techniques that you're interested in. Okay? All right, guys, so let's move on to the guard. So on my left side, so Enrique's right, when a guy's passing guard, my go-to move is with a Gatame. And again, I try to stay with the split guard idea. You know, if I could put him here, that's, you know, now I can do whatever I want. But on my left side, especially if I have somebody that's mobile and hard to engage, even if he's standing up, we're battling. This is my go-to move with a Gatame start. So I didn't get the split guard, but I got something pretty close to that. My right foot is still controlling his base. Okay, so this is my go-to move on my left side. Why are you looking at me? I told you to stretch.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Tap.
Guys, there's no way he would tap on this when we're going even, forget about live, semi-live, even flow rolling. He's not tapping on this. Mike, am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Yeah. So you were 5 minutes late. Guys, just so you know, we show up at 10 o'clock. Okay? 10 o'clock every day. Who has gotten here before 10 o'clock every single day? There's only one out of the three guys here. Yeah, it's me. So, he comes in 5 minutes late, then he sits on his phone, and then you stretch for about 2 minutes. Headstands. Mike, don't be afraid to speak up. I'm not exaggerating. So anyways, guys, there's no way he would have tapped on it. Tapped on the Gatame, the one I just had. However, that's not, I don't necessarily need a tap. I need control to start to set things up. Okay? So, even if he's standing, I'm on my left, this is the start.
Tap.
I'm enjoying the taps because you normally don't tap on this. All right? All right, so there's a lot of different things. I can also switch triangle. So there's a lot of things I can do, but once I have him in that tie-up, now I can sort of run with it, all right? Attacking on my right side of my guard is different. Anybody care to wager a guess what is my probably most dominant attack on my right side? And it's not a guillotine.
While we wait for the replies, Piotr is asking, do you consider some techniques as basic for your students and require them to drill on both sides, or do you let them decide individually?
Oh, excellent question. Excellent question. Yes. The techniques that you should drill on both sides is the ones where your opponent can impose. Okay? So, if I'm guard passing, if I pass to my left, okay, my guard passing to my right is bad, you can insist. You may get called, the guy may, if I insist on passing to my left, and Enrique knows and I just don't have any passing to my right, I can insist. He may take my back off it because I just keep insisting, and I just lost it. Or did I? You should have stretched. You should have stretched better. So, if I pass to my left and insist on it, despite the fact that my opponent is defending well, you can insist on that. But if you're in the guard, so if I'm here, I have to have defenses on both sides because he is determining, do I need to defend right or left? Okay? Now, your defenses or offenses or offense on either side or regaining guard does not have to be as good or don't have to be the same. Okay? But they need to be effective. So, to answer your question, I want, especially when your opponent determines which side you have to fight on, so to speak, you need to have the ability to do it on both sides. If you are purely determining which side, then it's up to you, okay? But it makes you more effective if you have some form of defense and offense on both sides. Don't have to be the same. They don't have to be the same, but they need to be effective. There's actually a story of, I don't know how a lot of you guys, maybe with striking background, there's a guy, Bill Superfoot Wallace. He was a kickboxer, karate guy back in maybe 80s. I think so. So anyways, he had a very bad injury on, I believe it was his left leg. Doesn't matter, but basically he had extremely dexterous kicks with his right leg. And that's the only thing he would kick with, only one side. But he was so good at it that he was a champion. He beat a lot of guys with just using one leg. And everybody knew he would use that one leg. So there's possibilities to have purely such a great one side, and you don't have to worry about the other. But you do need to have at least, especially in those instances where your opponent dictates where it's going to be, for you to have some form of defense and offense on both sides. Again, we talk about symmetrical versus asymmetrical. Does not have to be symmetrical. Does not have to be the same. Do we have any answers on, I hope I answered your questions, and do we have any answers on what is probably my go-to start on my right side?
Elias Pierce says leg locks. Piotr and Kanai says arm lock. And Willie says triangle.
Good guesses, guys. It's Omoplata. All right? So I don't know, for whatever reason it is, and usually when people get in trouble, they usually give you Omoplata. So I have a good Omoplata on left side and right side. And when I teach a seminar on that, I will attack both sides, you know. But I would say my right leg Omoplata, my right side Omoplata is a little bit better. So if again my go-to move is Omoplata. Okay. Now if he switched my hips, so if come in for a second. So if I'm going for Omoplata to the right side and he changes direction, he goes the other way, I'm going to switch back to the Gatame. Okay? Not, guys, this is not a rule. This is not, it's just, I go with what I see. I go with opportunities it gives me to attack. Okay? But it's just an illustration, okay, of my point that you don't have to, you want to have both offense, defense on both sides. Does not have to be symmetrical. So again, so this time he decides to go to my right. Omoplata it is. Now, the question is, how do I lost the ability to nail him from here. So I need to, I can't do anything, guys. He's stretched supposedly, but. Can we get a petition for Enrique? You should have stretched. Then he's going to say, I did. What I mean, you should have stretched this effectively.
Kanai Kiyoshi says hashtag Enrique should stretch.
So when he tries to pass to my left, my go-to move is Omoplata. He's not covering this time. So he has good, guess where he has really good Omoplata counters? On my right, on his left. So that's the sort of the idea that I like to think my offense on both sides is equally good, but utilizing different tools.
And Sean Bachler on Instagram is saying, I'm enjoying seeing him tap.
Going on the list. Just kidding. One thing I want to go back to the previous questions. So, for example, like escaping the mount, you need to have escaping the mount on both sides. You have to be able to escape the mount on both sides. Because again, your opponent tends to dictate where the opportunity to escape is. If you insist on escaping one way, chances are your back is going to be taken.
And Brad Bettis on YouTube is saying, hi Fox, I've been trying to play collar and sleeve and develop that guard as my default. I find it really hard to get a foot and keep the foot on the hip as it's always blocked out by an elbow or knee.
Okay, yeah, that's my probably with the gi. So I just switch. So right now, again, I have a collar and sleeve guard here. And I'm assuming this is what you're talking about, so please weigh in if so as he's doing it, I'm threatening De La Riva. But, go ahead, squash my De La Riva. Did you have your coffee? Okay. So, let's get back up. So, I have my feet on the hips, right? This is well, he takes this away from me. He's blocking. So again, on my left side, the opening is for De La Riva. If I can, I will weave it all the way through. All right? Now I will usually try to start to sweep. So let's go back to the other side. So now he's pushing my, so I have De La Riva hook. This is my biggest problem now. He pushes it down. Will Enrique pass my guard? For sure. So you need to understand, and I think is the feet placements are temporary. Oh, just 5 minutes. So the foot placement is temporary. They can be taken away from you. You could be literally the best guy in the world if you just keep your feet there without tension, where the guy on top can sort of like just back away his hips. Anybody can strip it. So understand that if you're like pulling in and you have strong tension, it may not be that easy to strip, but you have to think of them as temporary. What is permanent is a submission. Okay? Sweep is also somewhat temporary, but it gets you closer to the submission. So if you consider your foot placement, foot grips temporary, so think about it, you are given something, but you have to use it. Don't just keep it there. Okay? That's usually where those grips start to fail, because once he strips, so you saw, as he stripped one, I changed. Now he stripped the second one, and now he's in position to pass my guard. Because I changed, and if I don't use the grip that I just gained, then he's going to strip the second one, and now he's going to start passing my guard. So let's look at that idea again. This is very, very important. So I have a great placement, all right? So go. He stands up. So he strips it. So I go de la riva. If I can use the first one, now I can start to do things. I can sort of start to lift, attack, bring it back. Oh, go ahead. Hang your head. I stretch better. I stretched better. So you could see he was taking things away, but I just kept moving forward, utilizing those grips. Okay? Now let's look at the other side. So again, if I didn't get a chance to use this, as he strips, I have to do something different. You cannot let him take two things away from you at the same time. So he took 1, 2, now he's going to pass my guard. Because I tried to just have the grips there. You cannot. You have to, as soon as you get your grips, use them. My students, a lot of times they know, or, they may not be my students, but they're my teammates from the Renzo Gracie Academy, and when they compete is, get your grips and go. Get your grips and go. All right? We put it on a fortune cookie. Get your grips and go. All right? So again, if you get good grips and you don't use them, they will be taken away from you. So, I consider this, I have 3 grips right now. 1, 2, 3. So if the fourth one, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. So if he lets me get it in front of his leg, I will do that, okay? But he's blocking me really well. So I need to push. I need to use those grips, okay? So as soon as you establish grips, go. Start to sweep, start to attack, okay? If you don't, they will be taken away from you, and as soon as he takes them, again, he can just pause and let you regain grips. But most guys, once they take the grips away from you, they're gonna start to pass your guard or attack. All right? So you have to make sure when you get the valuable grips, now use them. You got something valuable, use it. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
And we have a lot of students watching, including
Nice, guys.
Moises, Nicole, Eric, Rockabula, TJ Jack. And a question that we have, this is on Facebook, Piotr is asking, could you go over trapping the forearm from Omoplata and transitioning to cross-side? And if you could also show a few options of attack when the opponent's arm is trapped.
forearm. Okay. So I don't know if you mean trapping the forearm with my left leg, or if he starts a turn. Yeah. No, this is back kick. I'm taking it back. I think.
I think it's like the mango dome.
Oh, the mango dome. We did. You look at the video with Firas. There's 2 videos with Firas. There's an Omoplata video which is free on YouTube, and there's another video on jujiclub.com, which is I don't know, $20 or $25. Use Silver Fox 5, I think you get $5 off. jujiclub.com. That's Firas's sort of library of DVDs or content. There's a lot of stuff on that, but so I guess you're talking about this. Yeah, that's on there. All right. Oh, we're out of time. We have any last minute questions? No last minute questions? All right, guys. So tomorrow we see you again. I'm not going to rant about people walking with the traffic today. So tomorrow, guys, episode 49, approaching to 50. All right? Stay well, stay safe, and be considerate. All right? And use your brain.